All right, everybody, welcome on in to the Mainline Sports Bar. You're watching 4th and 5, always having a great time here down in Hot Springs at Oaklawn. Always encourage everybody to make the trip down to the Spa City and come hang out with us, get some great food, have some great drinks, and enjoy some good Razorback football talk. Let's go ahead and bring in the crew right now before we get started. Once again, I'm DJ Williams, your host, along with everybody's here tonight. Look at this. We got Matt Harris, we got Grant Cook, and we got Josh Throne here in the house, and it was a fun pregame show. Why was that? It was because it was the first time all four of us got together in person, maybe since ever. Dang, when's the last time we've ever been in person? Was it since we played college football? I don't know. I don't remember. What's up, fellas? How y'all doing tonight?
Josh's wedding.
Good, baby.
Yeah, I'm doing good. I was about to say the last time we've all been together was at my wedding, DJ, but Grant ghosted us that night.
Happens. Yeah,
newborn.
Sorry, sucker.
All right, y'all, let's get into what we have for everybody here tonight. Once again, we got to talk about that post-game show when it comes to good old Arkansas Razorbacks falling to the number 4 team in the land, Texas A&M. A 3-point loss, tough one. Up there on the hill, 42-45. And what we like to do, we like to give a quick couple post-game thoughts. We already had some right after the game. We had some very passionate people here talk about that. But now we've let the dust settle just a little bit. We're going to talk a little bit further about that matchup on the hill falling to the number 4 team on the land. Also, later in the show, we're going to do some film breakdown. I'm going to show you some clips. I usually start with offense, but I kind of want to end on a high note, so we're going to just go ahead and get the defense out the way. I saw some stuff on tape. I had to actually call my guys, and we're all together in a huddle trying to make sense of what we're looking at. And there's a few plays that we're going to show you tonight that just don't make sense. It's the first time we've come across a handful of plays where we actually need to ask maybe the players or the coaches, what are you trying to accomplish on this one? Because this looks like bad football. Maybe we're just missing it. Then we're going to hop on the offensive side of the ball. Pretty good performance from them for sure. And then we're going to do some picks, a little Monday Night Football. Guys, I need to get this in the back of your brain real quick before I let y'all go. We got the Lions playing – who they playing?
I'm taking the Lions.
Baker. Yeah. We got the Lions playing Tampa Bay tonight. That's going to be the first game. And then later, we're going to have Seattle taking on those Houston Texans. That'll be the late game here on Monday night. But, fellas, let's go ahead and hash it out again. Let's do some quick some post-game thoughts on that Texas A&M game. And, Matt, I'm going to start with you because you were the most passionate post-game and very frustrated with a few things with maybe the way the defense is being handled for sure. But even the fans, especially towards the end of that game, that started to leave that stadium, in your opinion, a little bit early.
Man, I got a huge point. First off, let's just keep it on the field. No tackles, no D-line, no presence. You can't do that with the number 4 offense. Our defense is a frustrating point, right? Like, I know ball, and it's frustrating. But you could have Deion Sanders back there on Saturday, and they still would have produced yards. They had way too many on the ground. I mean, they're a good offense, but at the end of the day, Josh, DJ, Grant, we've been down on those sidelines before. When it's a 10-point game against the number 4 team in the country, and you're in the game and you got 3 timeouts with the Coach Petrino offense, and fans are flooding the exits. I don't know if that fan is watching me tonight, but I called one of them out, and I hope I did. I was like, where are you going?
Yeah.
Are y'all leaving? I don't want to hear anybody. Everyone on the chat boards, on the message boards, no, 0. If you weren't there with 10 seconds left in the game and when there was an onside kick against the number 4 team, man, that's what you go watch ESPN for. Like, Jack's got it. They kicked a field goal, win in overtime. If you didn't get goosebumps on that scenario, then I don't need you in this show. I did. Going through that. That's how you upset number 4 teams. You don't run away with it. You're not supposed to be winning. So we could feel it when the fans left on us. And it's really hard. The fans got to do better. The band, I want you playing on 3rd down until the snap of the ball. I want to see the lights in the stadium messing with the offense in the 4th quarter. All 4. It was a rain delay. It took a while for us to get going, but no one left their seats in the 4th quarter. So defense, that's been a thing all year. But this was the first game I've been to in a while, and the atmosphere was there. It was just stay. Yell a little bit louder. See what happens. Let's build a new culture of Razorback. where you stay till the end of the game like Grant Cook did at Notre Dame. Commitment.
Yeah, we all saw that clip of Grant Cook. I think maybe you were one of 10 people still left in that stadium, Grant, but you held it down. Looked a little sad by yourself. But real quick, you had a chance to go over the tape. We've actually went over the tape already. So what's your 2 cents after having a couple days post A&M performance-wise? Are we in the moral victory category? Are we okay with that? I don't know, but offensively, you have to be proud of what they did to one of the best defenses in the country.
Yeah, 100%, man. I think from a we talked about it from a moral victory standpoint. I don't believe in moral victories.
Yeah. Neither did Coach P.
You guys hear
I
me?
saw his post-game interview.
Wait, is that it?
Yep.
I must say, what? Hey, direct into the point.
Missed.
You must have a really big delay.
I missed half of your question, to be honest with you. And all I heard was moral victories. So that's what happens when we're supposed to go live at 5:30, and I'm at 5:32 going about 45 miles an hour down my street trying to pull into the driveway and get all this set up in here. So I just got you pulled up like where it needs to be. But
perfect.
In that meantime, it went like all haywire. So ask your question again, but I'm all in, baby.
Okay.
First question is moral victories. I don't believe in them.
Okay. You've had time to now review the film. Emotions change after watching the film. Better, worse, or about the same how you felt when you left the stadium?
Probably about the same, to be honest. I think for the way we felt, we knew we had an opportunity. We knew that maybe the defense left a few things out there. The offense left a few things out there. But overall, it was a competitive game, and that's kind of what the film showed. Texas A&M is a good football team. They're good defensively. They're good offensively. Their offense probably played better than maybe they have all year. Now, was that the competition they're playing, or was that just that they showed up really well prepared? They executed well. Overall, I mean, I think I probably feel about the same around this team as a whole as I did before the game after I watched them play Texas A&M.
All right, Josh, here we go. You always bring some juice. You always got a great opinion. It's sometimes come out of left field, but we've kind of been talking a little bit further down the road because, we can talk game all we want, but you are really good about kind of looking at it as bigger picture. All right. We sometimes focus on right now, but you're more of a big picture guy. What you got for us?
Yeah, I'm a big picture guy, and I don't come out of left field, DJ. I don't know what kind of narrative you're trying to create for these fans here to think about me, but I don't like it. See, DJ likes to use these mind tricks on people. He continues to place those seeds every now and then. But look, 4th in total offense nationally. That's something to be excited about. Number 1 in the SEC. Taylor Green's first in nationally in total offense, and SEC second. We have SEC second leading rusher and 3rd leading receiver. So there's a lot going on the offensive side of the ball that is saying Bobby Petrino's doing all the right things, and we don't need to let go of a guy like Bobby Petrino who has our offense and team, might I add, going in the right direction. The reason why we feel the way we feel of like, hey, that's still not enough is because this isn't Bobby's first season coaching with the Arkansas Razorbacks during his second stint. He took over Coach Sam Pittman's season. So we need to just all pump our brakes, sit back, take into account that he's taking over a team in the middle of a season, and he's been able to do this and get these guys to rally back around him after getting spanked by Notre Dame at Arkansas in Fayetteville in front of our home fans. And then he goes on the next 2 weeks, puts together that showing against Tennessee, then comes back and plays number 4, Texas A&M, and puts together that showing against them. DJ, you can't say enough about what he's able to do. Right now, he needs to be focusing on who is my defensive coordinator going to be if I can just do good enough to get this job. The other thing is that Hunter Yurachek, you need to be trying to find some guys that actually want to coach at Arkansas. And there's a whole nother road we can go down there. I'm not going to take it there right now, DJ.
I'll say this too. You did a really, really good job about bringing out that big time stat. Taylor Green right now, when it comes to total offense, I'm hearing you right? You said the number 1 player in all of America in total offense.
Taylor Green, first nationally in total offense.
That is insane.
Crazy.
And that we only get 2
Awesome.
wins this year. That's insane. So that being said, you also brought up this point, Josh, and that was actually our next talking point. These next 2 wins, we got Auburn and we got Mississippi State, okay? Both coming to Fayetteville. Buying or selling? Does Coach P need to win these next 2 games to be the head coach at the University of Arkansas? If he loses these, then is that his audition out the window? Josh, I'll start with you.
Yeah, I mean, I think that Coach P needs to win every game that he coaches right now because I don't trust the judgment currently of Hunter Yurachek to pick the right coach for the University of Arkansas. Let's just be real and look at past hires. You go back to Coastal Carolina, he hired the CEO of TD Ameritrade to be the coach there. Yeah, he had some good seasons there, but then they got the FBS. They weren't that good. Then you go look at what he did down there at Houston with Major Applewhite. It's like 15-11 or something like that. He goes on. The next thing we see of Major Applewhite, I think he's back as an analyst at Alabama. Well, now, guess what? We hired a offensive line coach that I like, that I wanted to be really good, that I was fully in support of because I felt like he loved Arkansas. And I won't take that away from him. But if I'm looking at Hunter Yurachek and saying, hey, what have you done? And how are you backing up these decisions on hiring football coaches at the University of Arkansas? I can't say that it's gone too well. You hired a guy who had 0 experience, although I love him. You hired a guy that did not really do anything other than that 1 9-win season, although I wanted him to. You hired a guy who got fired midseason and let Notre Dame beat the brakes off of us in our home stadium. That is your resume so far as hiring big-time coaches. You went out and got a guy who had 0 experience, although I wanted him to be good. So I like to continue to say that, DJ, because I don't want to come off like I'm hating on a guy or kicking a guy while he's down by any means. I love Coach Pittman. Awesome football coach. Was not the hire for the University of Arkansas, even though I wanted him to be, even though I advocated for him to have this additional season with Bobby Petrino here this year, because I was hoping that they'd be able to get those pieces together and figure it all out. Our defense fell apart. That is what it is. But the pressure is on him. If you're not going to go with Bobby Petrino, the pressure is on him to find a coach. And I think it's a whole lot harder than what we believe it is to sell Arkansas to coaches.
Josh, first time we've used this all year, but that take, go ahead, David, hit him up. It's kind of fire.
I love that.
Yeah, you like that one? Impressive. All right, so let's keep that thing rolling. Matt, I'm gonna save you for last. Grant, these next 2 games, are they must win for Coach Petrino to potentially keep or be in the race to have this job? If he loses these next 2, is that the last we've seen? Not the last, but will this be the last year we see Coach Petrino as a potential head coach?
Yeah, so I think they are. I think the next 2 games, if you look at the schedule, were ones that you would have pegged as wins if Coach Petrino or Coach Pittman, rather, was still here. So Auburn on a 4-game losing streak, Arkansas on a 5-game losing streak. Somebody's coming out of here with a win on Saturday, and then Mississippi State still winless in the SEC. So I think for us to say Coach Petrino can take us to where we want to be next 2 games. Showing to be kind of messed up.
It's a little choppy. You're good. Well, we can hear you. Go ahead. You're good.
We got you.
Okay. Anyways, but I'll say this too. I think from a coaching carousel perspective, it's really going to be based on who is available and when the music stops. And so there's some really big jobs opening up around the country. So are these must wins? I think they are. But who's going to come to Arkansas? I know Josh just threw a bunch of names out there and went through a lot of scenarios of people in the past and who we've hired and all those kinds of things. Great info. But could we end up in a worst case scenario by not keeping Coach Petrino? Maybe so. The other thing is, you got LSU and Texas on the road. Texas doesn't look that great, DJ. And I talked about Josh Throne style optimistic look at the rest of the schedule. I think that there are 4 games out there that are very winnable games, but we've got to play well to do it.
I like it, man. And in the meantime, before we get to Matt, if AT&T, Verizon, or anybody out there wants to be a sponsor of 4th and 5, we're going to send you to Grant's house and hook up a little fiber connection to get a little bit speed better. And after that pit stop, we're going to go to Texas and do the same thing with Matt. What you got, Matt? We need these 2 wins for things to keep rolling for Petrino. It's hard to say if he loses them. What do we? I don't know. I think it's a must. What about you?
Yeah. I mean, look. I do. And the reason why, I'll take it back to the 2008, 2009 locker rooms. Competition, man. Coach Petrino would be a fool to think that if I don't win a single game season when I take over as interim head coach, I'm going to get that to add up to me. So if you don't go down Auburn or Mississippi State, like Greg's saying, winless in the SEC, 4-game losing streak, argument gets harder. Where but to Grant's point, like, who's available? Petrino's got one of the best offenses in the country right now. Is he going to be the top choice at the end of our season, even if he doesn't win a game or he wins 1 or 2 games? What are we going to do then? I think we've talked about this in depth, y'all. To win these first 2 or these next 2 games is an absolute must. I do think that, just from this is your resume competition standpoint, you're putting up a lot of points, but you got to elevate your game. You got to compete now. You got to go win the game. And he knows that. He spoke to that on the post-game show. He was like, hey, like, he echoed what Grant said. Like, I don't believe in moral victories. We need to outscore them by 1 point. Defense needs to stop them by 1 less point, which I disagree with. Whenever we went out there, our goal was to always pitch a shutout. So those philosophies, as you guys know, I'm the defensive guy. If we're not thinking ahead as a staff and an organization, athletic department, and he doesn't win these next 2 games, y'all better be out there on the road interviewing these people and seeing who's next, because this is, I hope going to be an opening that's not too rosy. Like we view it as the best tree. But, he needs to win these next 2 or else what's the resume? What's the argument at that point?
Well, Matt, I think what the resume is, and just to combat your stance a little bit, I think the resume is that he's got the best offense in the SEC as a current head coach of an SEC team. It's going to be hard for Hunter Yurachek to find anybody that on paper can say that they played in the SEC, had the coaching record that Petrino has had in the SEC previously while he was a head coach, and then even with Sam Pittman's just big mess of a team that is getting spanked by Notre Dame at home, the way that they did, he still managed to have the best offense in the SEC. He still managed to have a quarterback who's ranked number 1 nationally in total offense. It's going to be really hard to find a candidate for the job that has any track record to compete with that. That's why it's kind of like you're swinging for the fences or you've got Bobby Petrino as your head coach. Yeah.
James Franklin, remember, before Penn State, he was at
Vanderbilt.
And he had
rolling right now.
So I don't like the excuses from our higher ups. Well, again, we've talked about this. And I agree, Josh, and Grant. I think we're all in this same boat. I think we just need a little information as, hey, these are our top guys. These are who we're going to interview. This is what you guys can expect from us. A little more transparency, because you're selling the University of Arkansas. You're selling our program. Petrino's in a very unique situation. He's interviewing for a job, like a lot of interim coaches, but they didn't have prior experience, like you were saying, Josh, running down past success. So it's interesting. But if he doesn't win these games and he has a really good offense, is that enough?
DJ, I want to toss something back at you, and I know you got a time limit here, but there's a lot of people that said we are turning into a basketball team. We were talking about this earlier, guys. A basketball school, right? We're a basketball school. My argument is, first of all, no, we're not a basketball school.
Let me preference it real first for your argument. So on 103.7 The Buzz, on the Zone, if you are not listening, please do, from 10 to 1 every single day. Our producer, Christian, we call him the Wizard. Dude knows everything about everything, all right? He's so awesome, all right? But he brought up the argument that some people are starting to say that Arkansas is a basketball school. And so when you look at, our conference record in the history of our football program in conference, we are below 500 team. And so the expectation of, winning 8 games, 9 games, always winning the conference just based off history, no one would put Arkansas in this category of that's a football school. Now you have national championship. You got another appearance with when you had Big Nasty and all of them with Nolan. Then you got, Elite Eights. You got Sweet 16s. Now you got Coach Cal coming in. And so people are starting to bring up this argument, which I don't know if I'm looking at it with an extremely biased view, because I'm like, what are we talking about? Arkansas is a football school. But now people are starting to put it in the category of maybe they're basketball. And then I said comparison like this. When we hear about Kentucky, us football players, we think that's not a program we want to be anything like. But when you put Kentucky into a national conversation with basketball, there's almost none better. All right. And so that is the argument. Is Arkansas moving towards a basketball school, or has it always been?
Yeah, and I think the answer to that is no, we're not a basketball school. We've never been a basketball school, although we like to be good at sports, and we're going to compete to be really good at basketball. And we have a history of winning national championship in the 90s in basketball. Football, we go all the way back to the 60s, but look what drives revenue. If you've grown up here in Arkansas, you know what kind of school this is. This is a football school. And that's my biggest problem, I think, with Arkansas leadership, is that I think that unless you know that and you truly embrace that, you can think, man, track and field has done X, Y, and Z. Man, we're one of the best track and field schools in the nation. We are the best track and field school in the nation. Baseball, national championship contenders. Basketball looks like we're potentially going to be a national championship contender, right? That we can do all that. But if you ain't got football right, you'll lose your job. And if you don't have that mentality as an AD and the leadership at Arkansas, then you don't really know what it's like to live in Arkansas, and you don't know what it means to be an Arkansas Razorback fan. You don't know what it means to everybody in the state of Arkansas. So if you think that you can just get by with mediocre coaches or doing these wild coaching hires, the guys that have never had any experience, and then we can just continue on with the same old, you're going to find out that that's not how Arkansas really rolls in the end. And whether we reach it or not, everybody in here, Arkansas, keeps reaching out for it, and we want to be great at basketball. At football. So
almost talked yourself into basketball.
You guys know what I'm saying. That's important.
Yeah, I know. Go ahead.
I'll say this. I think, everybody wants to be great at football, but in the same breath, over the last how many ever years, we've put a product on the basketball court that we can be more proud of than we've put on a football field. And so I think we've got to understand, what are the performance indicators? What are we looking at that dictates whether a school is a basketball school or a football school? Granted, the revenue is driven by football, but I would say that's true for every athletic department. I mean, whether it's just sheer numbers. I mean, more people show up at a football game than do a basketball game in most cases. But at the end of the day, I would argue that we've put a better product on the basketball court than we have the football field the last several years. I'm not saying that makes us a basketball school, but I will say that when you're getting amped up, you got a chance to win a national championship in basketball every year. I don't feel like it's felt that way around here in football for a long time. So maybe that's what people are trying to say. I don't know exactly why they're saying that, or what the national pundits are using as metrics to measure that. But if it's just a feeling thing, I don't know.
Yeah. All right. Sorry, y'all. I slate this for like 4 minutes. I should know better. Next week, I'm going to put 25 minutes for our opening talk. All right. So we're about to take a look at what's coming up later on the week. But first, so 4th and 5, like I said, we're trying to grow our fan base. We're doing some pretty cool things. So we got some people now. Look what I just got sent a picture of. Somebody driving around with this now. They got a 4th and 5 license plate, right? Oh. What are we doing, right? We got people supporting our channel. They're now buying 4th and 5, not only merch, but they're getting license plates right now. That's pretty cool. Now I'm kind of upset that I didn't do this first, because I don't think we can have the same license plate, right? Is that how that works? Dang it. Beat me to the punch, but you got to appreciate the love. All right, fellas, let's go ahead and move forward. Let's talk about what y'all got coming up later on this week, and then we're going to get to some very tough defensive film to watch, and then we're going to wrap it up with some offense as well. So, Grant, I'm going to start with you. What you got coming up later this week, man?
Well, first off, that's very sweet of Ebony to give you that to get that license plate on your behalf. But coming up tomorrow, Let Grant Cook segment, we're going to break down the offensive line. It was a pretty good day. Pretty good day up front. A few things that we need to work on, some things that I want to see us get better at to go ahead and further that offense a little bit more. Obviously, our goal is to score every time we get the ball. If we don't do that, then there's a little bit that we've left out there. Then we're going to get over on the defensive side of the ball, look at a few clips of what I would want to see, or what I wouldn't, I guess, want to see from our defensive line if I'm trying to block them. So we'll see that tomorrow morning.
I like it. So that'll be tomorrow morning. Some really good tape to watch, encouraging things to watch. Now let's go to that defensive side of the ball. Matt, I know you just can't wait to watch the film and break this down. What you got coming up for us a little later in the week, man?
Hey, man, I can't wait, because this is where your opportunity lies. The fact that they're sitting there talking about Arkansas being a basketball school, I'm not even in the locker room anymore, and I'm getting defensive about it. An extra chip on my shoulder if that got whispered throughout our room. But, there's really two big things that I had an issue with during this game. Right here, no pressure with the D-line. Coach Petrino mentioned that ain't good. Larry Worth, you're 225 pounds. Go introduce yourself to him. Not the Connie Walker, turn and look the ball. No pressure on the defensive line. Plus, y'all, Julian Neal is the only defensive back that takes a peek. You ain't got to stare the ball down. That's not good defense. But when you're locked up in phase, DJ, I need you to take a peek. Pre-snap if that quarterback's coming to you. You lock up, take a peek. Like, I want to see us, like, if you're going to be the worst defense in the league, go get a turnover, man. Go get a personal foul. Like, go do something. Man, like, spark that fan base up. Fans, if you leave again, you're going to be on my notes too coming up Thursday.
Matt said he's going to meet you at the 50-yard line. Two chin-strap game for Matt Harris. But that saying, now we got to move forward. Like I said, we got our own researcher right here on 4th and 5 who does the work, and that's why you always got to fire take like you did tonight. We got to move on, get ready for Auburn. Josh, what you got for us coming up later this week?
Yeah, a little bit later this week, we're going to take a look at Auburn and what Hugh Freeze is cooking up. He ain't cooking up anything. That food's still frozen. They don't have any wins in the SEC, brother. None. And so neither do we. So it's like two pals hanging out, not cooking anything. So we're going to find out what we're really made of, I guess, when we play them. See if we can skate away with a win at our home field in Fayetteville. 11:45 a.m. DJ, Grant, Matt, we're all going to be up early, bags still under our eyes, drinking coffee for this show. But guess what? I think we got a chance because Bobby Petrino's our head coach, baby. So we always have a chance when that Petrino magic shows up.
Oh, that Petrino magic. Josh is on it, man. Fellas, I appreciate y'all. Y'all have a great night. Thanks so much for hanging out. And like I said, we're going to make sure we keep y'all updated all week long as we prepare for a 11:45 kickoff. A very bizarre time for a kickoff. I've never think I've been a part of a game that started at 11:45. So our pregame show, if you want to hang out with us and have a chance to meet us, and hopefully the weather cooperates right now as it sits, we could be dealing with more inclement weather during game time up there in Northwest Arkansas. We'll keep you posted as we learn more. But 9:45 pregame show at the Alumni House. Fellas, thanks so much. I'll check in with y'all a little bit later in the week.
Sounds good.
Knees and nuts, DJ.
Your last, Grant. Let me get you out of here. And he's gone. All right, y'all. Great stuff from the fellas. Like I said, we've been talking about this stuff post A&M game for a very long time. We're always right there. We're tired of being what it feels like the worst team in the country. I mean, we're almost always about to win. It's getting old. And once again, I'm going to show you some things on tape that defensively, you're just going to just say, what is happening out there? And it finally got to a point where they started taking some people out of the game. And then that answered another question I had as to, well, if they're not doing well, why don't they just put the backup in? Well, they put the backup in. And I was like, okay, I understand why you haven't put the backup in. All right. So when it comes to that D-line, that depth is a very scary thing. And if they hear this, I know that sounds offensive. You may take it personal. I hope that you do. Not like as a personal attack, but as a competitor, if you got people over here calling you out and showing these clips on tape, the only way to stop all that is to then go out the next week and put a better product on the field. But it starts in practice. It starts in preparation. So I'm hoping things can get cleared up and moving in the right direction. So that was our breakdown segments that are coming up. Now it's time to go ahead and get to our breakdown. And we are starting with the defensive side of the ball. And I got a guy highlighted right now. He's popping up way too much on film. I'll make it a little bit bigger. Connie Walker. All right. I think that's David's favorite player, the guy in the chair right now. Just messing. Connie, we got to do better, man. Technique. You know, we brought you over here, paid you some money in NIL. We got to start doing the little things throughout the week. And there's so many things that I see on tape just simply when it comes to technique that you can work on to put yourself in a better position. But you have to put in the work and then show up when the lights come on. So you can see Connie Walker down here at the bottom of your screen. Like I said, once again, I got him highlighted. When a DB is up close like that, you can't give this receiver a free release. You have to get physical. You have to be an issue. It has to be hard to get off the line of scrimmage, especially if you're going to be that close. Because if you give a free release like this, watch this, hands not on him at all, runs right past him. I mean, that's just about as easy as it can get if you're a receiver. Oh, you're going to be press man coverage and not even get your hands on me. I'll just run right by you. I don't know why that is even an approach to this in the first place. If you're going to not be physical, then you need to be off of this guy. Very, very shocking things because it keeps popping up on tape. And it's getting to the point now, DBs, I hate to say it, that when receivers play us, they're thinking we're going to have the best day of the year because those DBs are out there. And Auburn has a guy coming to town who is arguably one of the best receivers in all of college football. We better tighten up. Let's go and take another look at a play from that defensive side of the ball. How many times were y'all watching this game and you're like, is anybody going to cover the crossing route? So many crossing routes, all these shallows. And I'm just trying to figure out, why is all this getting lost in traffic? How do we not have a plan for this? So you can be in zone. What happens when you're in zone? You have to see these crossing routes come over. Xavier Sorey, okay? I'm going to tell you right now, when I was a tight end, I lived in the middle of the field. If I had a shallow crossing route that was less than 5 yards, my head was on a swivel, because within that 5-yard barrier, you can knock somebody's head off, okay? You have to be physical. You have to cause some sort of disruption to throw off timing. The thing about it is you're looking right at them. Just put your hands on them. Bump them a little bit. Throw off that timing, not let them just run right past you and then try to catch up afterwards. I don't understand what is happening right here. And to be honest, it's getting to the point now where I thought I knew what was happening after going back and watching the film. I don't know if this is your fault, a coach's fault. It's just some very, very difficult film to break down because there's so many different elements going on at one time that just make no sense at all. But one thing that does make sense is how you finish this play. So you let this guy cross your face. How are you going to finish this play? This is now popping up too much, Xavier, and you can't allow this to happen. This is the first quarter, okay? Look at this effort after this. I mean, shuts it down. Well, I mean, hold on. I got to go back just one more. This blows my mind, y'all. Right here, you have a chance to at least go full speed and get a hit on him before he gets out of bounds, and you just let off the throttle while he's still in bounds and gets a couple extra yards. Doesn't make sense. Got to figure it out. Now, this play is probably the most difficult play I've ever tried to break down in my 3 to 4 years of doing 4th and 5, because I don't know what is happening. I wish if a coach or a player is watching this, the only thing that makes sense is if Cam Ball is in coverage right now, but it doesn't look like it. What it looks like is a little stunt up front, okay? So sometimes I got that little defensive tackle who's going to shoot down, and Cam Ball is going to loop around him, okay? It's just a standard stunt up front. And you see it right here. Cam Ball now has to come across to have that free lane to the quarterback. That's what it looks like. I have never seen this. I don't know who's wrong. Look at Cam Ball right here. I think he's about to try to go sack the quarterback, but instead, he just, I don't know. I've never seen that before. So I had to call Grant. I had to call Matt. I said, make this make sense. The only thing that I could potentially think is if we were having trouble with the crossing routes, maybe, I don't know, y'all. Maybe he's in coverage. If he is, then that's awful defense on the defensive coordinator spot. Of having your defensive tackle loop around and supposed to go back and try to be in some type of passing lane. Or he's QB spying the quarterback right here, which I don't believe that's the guy you want to spy the quarterback as a 300-plus pound defensive end. He's not going to catch up to Marcel Reed. So this one just does not make sense again. I honestly do believe he's supposed to rush the quarterback right now. And when I go back and watch that, that's just tough to watch. All right, so I'm going to chalk this one up to I don't know, okay? Now, on the other end of things, once again, Xavier Sorey. You can see him eyeing this crossing route again. You see him looking right at him. But there's so much confusion on that side of the ball. You see this crossing route right here. Xavier Sorey goes too deep, and then they let the guy in the shallow just become wide open. You got two guys guarding the tight end, and you got this guy wide open. Once again, just miscommunication. And then, like, the offensive coordinator for Texas A&M was just like, I just might as well keep running the same play over and over and over. I'm not doing anything difficult. They're just running around out there like they're just suited up Saturday, and they just want to have fun and not take this serious. That is just, once again, very tough film to watch. Not sure what's going on the defensive side of the ball again. Crossing route. We tried zone. Now let's go man. What did I say about man? If you're going to be pressed, be physical. Don't let these free releases off the line of scrimmage. You didn't touch him at all. All right, now you're trying to weave your way through traffic, and the guy comes wide open. I'll go back once again. You know how much difficult this would be, how much more difficult this would be. I've been out there sometimes. Me as a tight end, I actually wasn't the biggest fan of going out there because I'm not as fast as people. But when you got a big DB like Neal, put your hands on this guy. Don't let him have a free release because these guys are fast and extremely talented. Don't start the play already at a disadvantage of letting them run full speed. So once again, they just ran crossing routes all day. And this is now in the third quarter, and they just kept doing it over and over. Very surprised we didn't have an adjustment. Now, Connie Walker, I'm going to talk about a few guys right here. Thing about it is they put this guy in motion. Connie Walker follows him. That's a huge man-to-man indicator, okay? And you had a full head of steam to come down here and make this play. But when the play presents itself, you just got to be physical. Steven Dix, I've seen this guy. He looks like he was molded from clay. I mean, he's six-pack, big muscles, 230-plus pounds, maybe 3% body fat, and he's an athlete. The guy can hit. And you got this running back that is lead blocking right now, and he's giving you that work. That's the last thing a running back wants to do is to see a guy that looks like you coming down full speed. You just have to blow this up. How many times has Matt said, plays like this, Steven Dix, you're not going to get the tackle, but you can blow that guy up and create a mess so your other guys can get the tackle. But watch him just throttle down right here and take this hit from the running back. You too big for all that. Play like it, all right? Be more physical. I hate saying this, but that's just soft. It's on tape. Prove me wrong. It is soft. And then we got another guy right here, Caleb Wooden. Make a play right here. I mean, so many times I see Caleb, and I know you're a smart guy. I've talked to you. I talk to you every single week. That's why it's so tough to do this breakdown, but I have to keep it real because I'm going to talk to you tomorrow, okay? Spectating way too much, man. Like Matt Harrod said, strap up those chin straps and go put your face in there and go hurt somebody. Legally, maybe. And then, but you just get a missed tackle right here. And then Connie Walker, once again, you started with him all the way on the other side of the field. When you start having other men, Connie Walker's a grown man, right? When you start having other guys literally carry you 10 yards down the field, we got to start figuring something out. All right. You're a much better football player than this. You're a much better tackler than this. You just have to show it. Okay. Because it only matters on Saturdays when we're not seeing it. You got this guy wrapped up, and he just takes you for a free ride all the way out of bounds and doesn't even fall down. I mean, that's just tough film to watch. We got to stop putting this stuff on tape, fellas, all right? Stop giving me a reason to come up here and show these bad clips, but I didn't really find any good defensive clips. Coach Rotino had his press conference today and said, once again, we just went down to missed tackles. Tennessee, we did much better, a little bit more with not missed assignments. We had a lot more missed assignments this game, and we had a lot more missed tackles. That all is focus and effort. Don't let this guy drag you all the way down the field and not even fall down and move on to the next play. Tough film to watch. And then you get these situations. Mitchell, we have to shoot the gap here, right? So Justice Boone does a really good job with this responsibility. In these read options, you got one person who takes the run and then the other guy with the quarterback. So he does his job, all right? Mitchell on the outside, what are you waiting for? Pull the trigger. You're looking right at him. There's nothing else going on in front of you. Pull the trigger. You're the fastest guy supposedly on the team. You are another one. You got the size. You got all the physical attributes. Go bury this guy in the backfield and stop waiting on him. You wait on him, let him get outside, just playing so slow. Once again, just thinking so much. It makes these defensive guys slow down when they play. Another situation right here, Steven Dixon Field, tough spot, all right? We have to do better about open space tackling or at least knowing where your help is so you don't get beat. Just makes this too easy. You got two guys trying to cut off the sideline and gets right past these guys. Got to do a much better job in open field tackling. Pops up all the time on tape. Singletary, my guy. I'm going to put you right there with Mitchell. There's a few times on tape, and I don't think I have it in this breakdown, but remember when we were 4th and 1 and we had a chance to stop them in the backfield? You were almost in the same position right here. Okay, you're the last guy on the line of scrimmage. You're the force. I want to remind you, you are playing the game. You don't have a front row seat to watch it all unfold in front of your eyes. Be a part of the play. Be physical. Go make this tackle. Watch this. I see this, and I see a guy that doesn't like contact. I see somebody who's trying to avoid it at all cases possible. Look, takes his time. Right now should be another indicator. I mean, you're looking right at it. It's a free lane of saying, okay, I can go be a part of this play. It's 3rd and 1. It's a pretty important down. Sits back. What are we doing? I don't get it. What are we doing? I told myself to be chill today, all right? I watched this tape and got it out of my system. Now, rewatching it again, it just brings it right back to me. Man, that's tough, man, because what we saw last week at Tennessee, we saw a team that has the ability to play much better and at a higher level. So when we come out and have inconsistencies and we play below than what we're capable of, once again, I will remind y'all on that team, I don't waste my time on players that I think don't have the opportunity or at least the chance to get the job done. I wouldn't even waste the time on a breakdown. Each and every player I'm talking about, y'all are more than capable of doing this. You just have to get that mindset and get it going like we were towards the end of the first half. Defense flying around. The fans were getting into it. Everybody's going up on that was probably one of the best environments I've been in an Arkansas stadium in an extremely long time. It was so much fun, and it wasn't necessarily the players feeding off the crowd's energy. It was the crowd feeding off the players' energy. It was special, all right? So we know you have it in you. So there's zero excuse for plays like this. Go get your nose dirty. Be a football player. It's a physical game each and every play. So another thing that's popping up, and I've kind of treaded back a little bit on this, okay? I've been getting on our defensive line a lot, okay? I will say this. I'm not one for excuses. However, our defensive line is extremely thin. Once again, we were out David Oki. I did note that Danny Saili was out as well. Coach Petrino even said it in the press conference. The pitch count for our defensive linemen is way too high. But then I'm trying to figure out, look at the time on the clock. You see what it is? It's 3rd quarter, 14 minutes and 22 seconds. We're fresh out of halftime. There's no excuse to be tired. So now we're looking at the clock. Did they run maybe 3 plays before? I went back and watched the live film. They ran 1 play before this. This is the 2nd play out of halftime. There's no way you're tired on this play. And if you are, then we got a much bigger issue. You got to do something different in practice. So watch my guy right here. Grant's actually going to talk about this tomorrow in his breakdown as well. But Grant was saying if he was an offensive lineman and he had to block our defensive tackles, he would be very excited to play that game because they just take plays off. There's not an ounce right now that's making it seem like Ian is trying to play. All right, you saw that right there. Now watch this. If you're hurt, then get off the field. But if this is because you're tired after the 2nd play, look at this body language, okay? I don't understand it, y'all. You're going to see it from a different angle right here. Actually, the way that he responded after this, he may have been hurt. Here's another look right here. I get it's a double team, but the guys aren't really even blocking hard on the double team. And as we go ahead and go right here, you're going to see the body language. I don't know if he's tired or if he's hurt. So watch this. That looks, I hope he's tired. I said I hope he's hurt, but I actually don't hope he's hurt at the same time. But we've been in too many situations where we shouldn't question the character and the identity of a defense if we don't know if you're hurt or you're tired. I guess that's the point I'm trying to make because most fans just don't know. Here's another play that popped up. I actually went inside the stadium. So I haven't even been inside the stadium this year because I like to get locked in and I like to watch the TV edit and then I record all these things and then I go back and watch all the film. And so, but this one I went into the game. I was in the north end zone and I had a view of the defense. So I'm behind these guys. And so me and Grant and the guy in the chair, we decided each play we're just going to pick one player to watch. Don't look at anything else on the field. We're going to pick one player, then we're going to move on to the next. I was shocked. That could be a whole breakdown in itself. On this one, right before the ball was snapped, Grant said, let's go look at Caleb Wooden this play. All right. And my jaw dropped after this touchdown because from our perspective, you see it right here. He's the single high safety. You got this guy coming on a crossing route. And right here, he's eyeing the quarterback who's looking at this guy. This guy did not surprise him. And from where we were sitting, we saw this whole play develop. I was actually getting excited, wondering if he throws Caleb's way, we're going to get an interception. Okay. And look what they did. He throws his way. And then he kind of threw it off of his back foot and he put air underneath the ball. And I was thinking, we got an interception here. I mean, you see it coming from the very start of the play. And Caleb, I don't know what is going on right here. He just lets him catch it. I've never seen anything like it. It wasn't a good route. It wasn't anything. Now, once again, my guy over here, I did point this out. You see where the ball is in the air? Plenty of time for Caleb to track this. Justice Boone, what are you doing down here? Why are you jumping up acting like you finna deflect this ball right here? All right. I get coach say, you know, put effort on the field. That's a little too much. All right. You ain't got a 8-foot vertical and you can pick this ball off. Interesting thing right there. But let's move along to Caleb right here. You see him right now. Ball's in the air. This is when you have to start making a play on the ball. But he just sits there and watched this whole thing develop right in front of his eyes. I don't get it. I really don't understand. That was nothing special, and we're just giving up these easy touchdowns. Now, great job by Neil right here, but once again, the breakdowns on the defensive side of the ball. Look at this tight end right here. 2nd and 7. You're only down 8 points right here. You have to try to force a field goal. All right, defense has to know if we can stop him and get him to a field goal, we got a shot to win this game. 3rd quarter, offense needs us. Why is this guy running wide open? I don't know if this is Xavier Sorey. I don't know if this is supposed to be Caleb Wooden potentially coming down, which I would be surprised since he's the single high safety. And so I would assume this is supposed to be Sorey pushing out to this guy. But he's just locked in on the backfield. I mean, so once again, so many miscues, so many missed assignments on the defensive side of the ball. I mean, A&M put up 45 points. In my opinion, A&M is not that good of an offense. They just had a field day playing against Arkansas. Very tough to see. That should have been a touchdown, an easy throw and catch for a touchdown. And like I said, it just keeps popping up. Here goes Mitchell once again, one of the most athletic guys on the football field. Make an open field tackle. Make an open field tackle. You see this developing. This is your guy. Be an athlete and don't let this guy just run right past you. And then, if that's not the case, this is what happens when you start putting stuff on tape. Once these guys start realizing the DBs don't want anything when it comes to being a physical football player, this is what happens. Running backs no longer try to avoid you. They're going to run right through you. You just sit there and take that. Let me go back one more time. No, it seems like it's embarrassing film to watch. But at this point, Mitchell needs to be accelerating down and meet this guy and have a big contact play. Once again, 2nd and 7. Your offense needs you. You're down 4. I don't understand why he's sitting down waiting on this. It was like he opened his arms and said, come on, just spear me right in my chest. Go be a dog and go hit this guy. Stop waiting on the contact. Be the hammer, not the nail. Coach Petrino used to say it all the time. And then you get into situations like this. This play actually comes back, but I don't want to rely on penalties to keep teams out of the end zone. Caleb Wooden, great job recognizing the play. Now you have to be physical and go make this play. Don't let this big running back make you dive for his ankles. Go make a form tackle. Yes, it's going to hurt, but hold on and wait for the cavalry to come to let this guy just run past you. Like you're going for the ankles right here. Go hit this guy in his chest. Go take one. Hold on. You got a whole crew coming to help you. Well, maybe. We're kind of jogging back here. Oh. Keep it going. All right, let's keep this thing rolling. Let's get to another play right here. And then the very next play, this happens. Okay, so I'm not sure what happened right here. I was listening to the Coach Petrino press conference. Once again, just miscommunication up front. How many times have we heard throughout the year missed assignments? We're going to make the game simple, and they just keep messing it up. Right now, what this looks like is Frank is his name. He's the guy I got highlighted. It looks like he has outside contain. And if that's the case, then you're going to have Xavier Sori fill this hole right here, but he jumps outside. That doesn't make sense to me. Now, in the press conference, I don't know if he was referring to this play or the other play, but Coach Petrino, I think he said that Frank came in and there was one really big missed assignment that led to a big play for the offense. I would assume this is it. So if that is the case, I apologize, Xavier Sori, because I was getting on to you post-game. That's why I think it's important to watch the film. I think that Frank is supposed to crash this down and be responsible for the running back and not be outside contained. That's the only thing that makes sense why Sori would jump outside. That's what I think. But once again, I've never watched so much tape where I've been so uncertain about what's going on a football field. That's a problem. And let's go ahead and take a look at one more play. Same thing popped up again. Easy walk-in touchdown. I mean, guys, we're down 3 points right here. 3 points. Imagine if you hold them to a field goal. A field goal. And then once again, Sori's tucked inside. And once again, I don't know if this is fault. So much miscommunication up front. You got this guy running in untouched almost. But look at my guy D tackle. So I remember I told you we got to get our guys some rest. Well, the backups are coming in. They just running all over the place. All right. I'm not going to sit here and act like that's not on coaching. Coaches, you need to make sure that second string, third string, everybody in that locker room, everyone in those meeting rooms, they need to know what to do. All right. Right now we got guys out there just running around. I don't think this guy's supposed to crash all the way down into the opposite A gap. And then look at this. 3-point game. Try to hold them to a field goal. Give your offense an opportunity to do something special against the number 4 team in the land, and it opens up that wide. Wow. That's tough film to watch right there. That's the defensive side of things, and like I said, hopefully they can brush things up and figure that out. But I wanted to go ahead and get that out of the way, okay? So now we got that out of the way. We're going to go to the offensive side of the ball, and before we do that, I was very encouraged with what I saw on the offensive side of the ball. Talon played good. Offensive line played good. Mike Washington played good. And I'm going to show some of those good plays. But, fellas, I'm going to apologize in advance. I'm about to be extremely nitpicky. Why is that? Because our defense does not allow us any room for error. Sometimes when you have a good defense, you can maybe get away with maybe one questionable decision here, maybe one there. But right now, we almost have to be perfect on the offensive side of the ball until they can figure something out. So we're going to address some of those areas that I think perfection is almost there, but I'm going to show some good plays as well. So we're going to go ahead and get to our first break. And on the other side of that break, like I said, we're going to talk a little bit more about Talon Green. Once again, the number one, the offensive player right now when it comes to total yards of offense? Number 1 in the nation. Number 1. And we only have 2 wins this year. That's tough. We'll be right back after the short break.
I bet they run the ball right here. Well, you former Razorbacks think you're so smart, don't you? What? Well, if you are so smart, why don't you put your money where your mouth is? Wager on the Oakland Sports app. It's the best in-game wagering available in the state. Maybe use that football brain of yours to bet on this next play. Plus your favorite games. It's that easy. Yes! See? You should have took the bet.
Bet on any game all season long with Oakland Sports, Arkansas's best sports betting app.
This Halloween, the deals are frighteningly good. Sink your fangs into a brand new 2025 Chevy Silverado 1500 LT now, a spine-chilling $12,500 off MSRP. Only at Southwest Auto Collection in Arkadelphia. But hurry, when the clock strikes midnight. This monster deal disappears.
Hey, you're not in high school anymore, but that knee still remembers that state championship. And that shoulder, well, it's been off since that game-winning drive. At Ortho Arkansas, they see it all the time. Old injuries that never fully healed, finally sneaking up on us. But here's the good news. It's never too late to get back into the things you love. Whether it's running, lifting, coaching, or just keeping up with your kids, their sports medicine team is there to help you move forward without pain holding you back. Fellowship-trained physicians, personalized recovery plans, care that's built around your goals. Because once an athlete, always an athlete. Ortho Arkansas, for plays that still matter. All right. Welcome back into the Mainline Sports Bar. here at Oakland. We're going to get to that offensive side right now of our breakdown. So let's go ahead and bring it back in. Or right now, I want to let you know I see everybody in the chat room right now. I'll get to your comments a little bit later. It's a little tough on these nights. We got to roll a little bit more, all right? But I tell you, the night to really get in some comments is going to be Wednesday night in our viewer comments. I have some really, really good times there. Also, Ladarius, it was a pleasure to meet you in person this weekend. Thanks for coming out and supporting 4th and 5. All right, let's go ahead and get this thing rolling. Let's go to the offensive side of the ball. Okay. Let's go ahead and start. Wait a minute. That's not offensive setup. I still had another play. Oh my gosh, I thought I was done with defense. I just put this up there because I actually didn't think that was a hold. I really don't. All right, let's go ahead and move along right here. Offense, you can't be mad at them, but this is where I'm going to go ahead and get nitpicky. I told you I would, even though we had a great day. I'm going to give you that. So hats off to you. Let's go ahead and get that out the way. Now let's look for rooms of improvement, little areas that we can get a little bit better. I'm going to look at Kobe Branham right here. All right. So what he is attempting to do, he is trying to work up to this linebacker. Okay. But in the process of this, he comes free. All right. His guy's on the ground. Actually, he ran a little bit past him, and he's passed here trying to make a play. Okay. I know this is hard to do. Instinct says that's my guy. I got to go look at him. You just have to let that be. And you offensive linemen should never turn back into the field, into the backfield, unless it's a screen and you got somebody chasing the running back. Outside of that, you got to keep those eyes moving forward, because look at the potential right here. Mike Washington does a great job breaking this tackle, and you're just kind of sitting here looking, wasting space. Keep that track moving upfield, okay? This potentially could have went for a touchdown. As long as you keep running upfield and try to find work. Look at this guy right here. You're in position. If you're moving the right direction, get your paws on that little guy, push him out the way, and he doesn't get that tackle on Mike Washington. He had nothing in front of him, had a great opportunity to score on a handoff the very first play of the game. I think we got, what's the word? I was about to say a bad word. What's another word you could use instead of screwed? Can't think of one. We got taken advantage of on that one right here. This was a great play design. Great job by Coach Petrino having his tight ends out here. What Platt's trying to do is run a dig route, and this defender just got all up in his face, all right? That's not on him. This was not an intentional pick. I love the play design. I love Taylon's presence in the pocket, getting it out to Rohan right here. But this came back. But one thing that I was waiting for, because it's been a long time since we saw Coach Petrino as the head coach at the University of Arkansas playing a home game, and we got the second offensive play of the game. Look at him. Yeah, go get him, Bobby. Oh, man. Look, this referee, you can tell before the game started, just don't make eye contact, all right? Don't make eye contact. Look straight ahead and move forward. You got to love that intensity on that sideline. I just got scared that I even called him Bobby. I meant Coach Petrino. I'm sorry, Coach. Forgive me for that. All right, let's move forward. Got to love the intensity out of the gate. Puts us in a 2nd and 22. Taylon does a great job right here with his eyes. So you're going to see sometimes on tape, Taylon just playing at a high level. You're going to see sometimes you're like, oh, Taylon, what are we looking at? And I know your eyes work because they work on this play. Does a great job locating the safety, understanding that you got man-to-man coverage with your guy, Omega Blake, down here at the bottom of your screen. And we go ahead and get this ball off. You snap your eyes over. Now it's an incompletion, but it's a pass interference. This would have been a beautiful ball. Couldn't place it any better. Omega had a step on him. And I'll say this, if it's in the vicinity of Omega Blake, he's most likely coming down with that ball. He forced him to grab him right here for a pass interference. Great location with the ball. If he doesn't slow down, he catches that in stride. So great job with his eyes. They had to get a pass interference. Now we got a 1st and 10. All right, let's keep it moving. Once again, Mike Washington doing amazing things. But this one, Mike, I'm telling you, trust that speed, big dog. As soon as you start looking back, things start slowing down. I know it's instinct. He's right on you. Don't look back at him. Don't give him a little shove right here. Just keep that thing moving ahead. Protect that ball with both hands. Did a great job right there. But this guy, Grant's going to talk more in detail about this. I'll go over it real quick. But offensive line, great job right here. Let's go ahead and put that guy on the ground. Work up for a linebacker. Mike Washington does a great job looking like he wants to run in between. What that does is set up a block, makes it much easier for his offensive lineman. That's playing offense at an extremely high level. Y'all, we talk about Coach Petrino and his brilliance. I mean, it's so many times on tape, I was just like, man, we have one of the best in the business calling our plays. Another one right here when it comes to kind of going on the fly, these little blocks that can get us into the end zone. It killed us when we had to settle for field goals. Had a great opportunity right here. Right now, you can see Kobe Brenham. He's actually supposed to be working up to this guy that he's looking at. But as the ball snapped, they kind of did a stunt, and it made him go backside. If you're an offensive lineman and you know it's a read zone play and your defender is going backside, let him go. All right. Once again, that's a different level IQ because you have to instinctively get off of a guy you're supposed to block, knowing he can't make the play. Imagine if you work up right now and they block this linebacker instead of this guy who's backside. Mike Washington takes that thing to the house because it would leave him one-on-one with this safety. I'm going to take Mike Washington, putting his face mask in that guy's chest, falling into the end zone for 6 points. End up getting a little shoestring tackle right there. But now we got to get this figured out. We can't always get to the red zone and hurt ourselves. Can't do it. We can't do it. My guy Platt right here. Good game. You're coming along. Had a great catch. We're going to show that here in a little bit. I'm not sure what's going on with your steps right here, okay? It looks like you're going the wrong way, okay? I don't believe we're supposed to leave this man unblocked. Some people say that's who the quarterback reads. Well, if you're looking at Taylon's eyes, they're reading this defensive end, and that's who they're letting go. If he crashes down, then Taylon pulls it. But from this look, we're good to go. I think Platt had a bad step right here, probably just thinking, and you let this guy slip in, and then that's who gets the tackle. Now, I don't know if we go for a touchdown, but on the goal line, you got to be almost flawless. Great play design right here, but now we have to give credit where credit is due. A&M's a really good defense, and they showed it, okay? We had a little fake toss, and then my guy, I think that is C.J. Brown, is supposed to act like he's blocking this safety, and as soon as he comes up, he's going to slip right behind him. Hope for a little touchdown. You see Taylon's looking at it, but they didn't take the bait. Now, what would have been nice if we get in a situation, let me go back real quick. I know a lot of people, even my nephew was watching this. Why did he not throw it to Taylon? You know, when the play is designed to fake it to this guy to try to hit somewhere else, that's almost impossible. Then to go back to that guy because you really try to sell it like you want to go there, then you have to get somewhere else. However, we didn't get that. Now, Taylon, be smart here in the red zone. I would almost prefer to take a sack rather than do this right here. You can't just throw this thing up into almost double coverage and get an interception in the end zone. We got to be smart, okay? I get when pressure's on, you don't want to take a sack. I would much rather take a 30-something yard field goal than get an interception right there. You got to be smart in those situations, but it was a good opening drive, just couldn't finish. You can see a little bit better right here. That guy didn't buy it at all, so Taylon just had to get out of there. Just got to be smart. I honestly would have took that sack or throw it 10 yards in the back of the end zone. All right, but once again, I'm going to talk about this offense and brag on them a little bit. 3rd and 19 right here. 3rd and 19. Coach Petrino, man, when Taylon Green is rolling and he's doing it the right way, him and Coach Petrino can be extremely dangerous together, and we've seen it at times. They're all covered up right here. A&M, once again, a great job defensively. And once again, last year, Taylon takes off and runs right here, but he's doing a better job this year is keeping his eyes downfield. And these guys, they're expecting the run. They have to commit to it. Eyes downfield, get that ball out, and then it brings us to the infamous 4th and 1 play. All right? This one was tough to watch. This one was extremely tough to watch. 4th and 1. Everybody's familiar with the play cowboy go get it pass, right? We've seen that all the time. This is almost kind of the same thing, except he didn't hide the ball behind his back. They actually faked it a little bit, showed a real run play action instead of this. And when it opens up like this, these are the moments when I get through bragging on Taylon and his eyes, and I know he sees things. These, I'm not sure what he's looking at. You couldn't ask for anything more right here than get these guys committing up front. You got Rohan Jones slipping by, and you got an easy, just throw it ahead. He catches this ball over his shoulder, and he is off to the end zone. All right, we're going to be up 10-7. And so people always kind of go back and forth about Coach Petrino, the last 2 4th downs we've had. A lot of people are saying, I don't feel good about the decisions he's making about going for it on 4th down. Coach P is not going to call that play to go for it if he doesn't believe he doesn't have the right call in the playbook. He knew exactly what defense they were going to show up in. He knew exactly what play he wanted to call. And in Tennessee, it was there. Taylon just didn't see him. This game, it's there. I want to say he's looking at him, so it's hard for me to say that Taylon didn't see him. They say that he just got spooked by that safety right there. But from that look, you have to throw this ball. No question about it. And a lot of people also gave Coach Petrino a hard time saying, how come they just didn't do that tush-push thing to just go get the first down? Coach P knows that against A&M, you're going to have explosive plays, and you get yourself in a situation where you know it's going to be everybody up to the line of scrimmage, and you got an opportunity to score a touchdown right now. He likes to pull the trigger. You know, Coach Petrino is very aggressive. He had the right play call. That was just very frustrating. Taylor didn't get it out, and there he is. Look at Coach Petrino. He couldn't believe it. I was like that in the stands. I had both hands up too, Coach. It wasn't just you. It was me. And then this is where it gets scary. Look at him. Then he looks for Taylor. Oh, that's bad news right there. The camera didn't cut to this, but I was watching him on the sideline. I didn't realize Coach P was so limber. You know, he was jumping up and down. He got all the way down to the ground, got back up again. Tell you, man, when he gets angry, man, he's special. It's like a superpower comes out in that guy. You have to hate that. Here's other angles right here. That's who Taylor thinks is going to be a potential issue on this play. But once again, I think if he could go back, obviously he would throw it. But just this look right here, that's tough for me to explain. And those are the moments that are so frustrating with Taylor Green at times. But that's sometimes what you just have to take with how explosive he is when he does something special. I wish we could just get all good, but that's a little bit that comes with it. All right, let's go ahead and keep it moving right here. Get to a situation, once again, A&M, you got to give credit. They did a really good job in coverage at some points of the game. They got a good defense, and this is where we love Taylor Green because he can make something out of nothing, gets out of the pocket, extends the play with his legs, picks up a great first down, keep the chains moving. Go get out of bounds a little earlier. We can't afford you to take any unnecessary hits. Once again, great job right here making this guy decide. He picks the wrong person. Braylon Russell gets up there and looks for contact, lets him know, hey, I'm in for this. And so when you get things like that happening, same action right here, safeties have to commit. This is what happens when you establish the run game first. Coach Petrino does a great job with this. Mike Washington, Braylon Russell, establishing the run games. The safeties have to help. Now, receivers, we got to do our part, okay? Great job getting that guy up. We end up throwing an incompletion right now. A lot of people are looking for an interception, but we have to be a better route runner right here. You have to know that middle of the field is going to be open. So C.J. Brown, you got to give him a little, you got to give him some sauce right here, okay? Go up, step on his toes, give him a little something, get him off rhythm to create a bigger window because he's getting in there too quick, getting in there way too quick. Be patient. Andrew Armstrong was so patient of a runner, but it let things develop and open up and give you a bigger window to get this done. Go ahead and give him a good little route right there and give yourself a little bit more space to catch this ball. All right, let's go and get to a 3rd and 9. Great job by Taylor Green. The show that they had at first, they couldn't have picked up this pressure because they were bringing more than what Arkansas could block. And the communication that y'all missed that they don't see or show on tape, they had great communication up front, and they knew that guy coming off the edge was going to be unblocked. They knew that before the ball was snapped. Taylor did a great job understanding I don't have any time to throw this ball. Based off this, my only issue is going to be that guy dropping back in coverage, and did a great job getting the ball out. Now, you had options. I'm not mad at either one. Make a decision. Make it quick. Great job knowing where the pressure was coming from and getting that ball out quick. Let's go ahead and get to a 2nd and goal. Once again, Texas A&M, they decided early they're not going to let Taylor beat them in the red zone with this read option. They dedicated everything to making sure they had a guy for the running back, and they had 2 extra guys for Taylor, okay? So what does that do? It puts your DBs on an island. This is where Coach P has to see this and draw up an audible. How many times have y'all watched NFL games and right before the snap, the quarterback comes up and he taps his helmet, can, check this, check that. This would have been a great time for that because look at that middle of the field. The only guy guarding it right now is that referee, all right? So once again, opportunities for receivers to be patient, run great routes, and have an easy throw and catch. That's something we have to start doing in the red zone and not rely on Taylor's read option all the time because teams are going to sell out and get it done. Another situation. I'm bragging on the offense. I was very happy with what I saw right here. A&M bringing more than they can block. They had a late guy drop, so they're blocking all the right people. Braylon Russell, amazing job with the pressure and picking this up. And they let the guy go unblocked that was furthest away from the quarterback to give Taylor more time. Great job right there. Gets the ball out. Good throw right over that linebacker to Rohan Jones. Talk about efficient offense. That's been special to see. Now, I only highlight this play because I'm a little biased on it. This was my bread and butter, all right? So, Rohan, if you're watching right here, we got to do a little bit better at the top. You got to give him a little sauce. You got to give him a little all right? We all know this play call. We used to talk about it. I think I can actually say it. We called it, I feel bad. I feel like Coach P's going to be mad at me if I say what this play call is. Scat 73 Miami. That's the play. We've talked about it on air before. It's cool. You got this running back going out to bring that defender out. And what that does, it leaves the middle of the field one-on-one with the tight end and the quarterback. This is what Casey Dick threw to me every single time my sophomore year and gave me a good shot to go to the NFL. So I appreciate that, Casey. I appreciate that play. Mallet and I had great chemistry on this too. Taylon's looking at him, but you just can't go run into that guy and then try to back out. You got to be an athlete right here, Rohan. Right now, you look covered, so Talon's decided to just get off of that and move on. And I will say, and that one too, just throw that ball away, Talon. Throw it away. All right, let's keep it moving. We get to another situation. Texas A&M, great defense. But the only thing, when you drop in coverage, you don't leave anybody for Talon Green. He did a good job checking it. Everything's covered. Now let me go be special with my legs. I think he ran, for the most part, at the right time most of the time in this game. Great block by Braylon Russell. There's another block by C.J. Brown you can't see, but just, man, that was special. That was right after he got hurt, got back on there, threw on that knee brace, and went and scored a touchdown. Another one right here, great play call. This is 3rd and 3. This is before halftime, right? With 30 seconds left. When we handed the ball off, I was just like, are we sure? But when you got receivers blocking downfield like that, man, that's special. Such a great job. Look at this receiver all the way down here. Wow. That's amazing. Big shout out to the receivers not being prima donnas and be a part of the running game. That's when special things happen. Great job, great run, great play call. Let's get to a 1st and goal. We maybe could have done maybe a slightly better job of just throwing this ball. You can see right here, it opens up in man-to-man coverage. Just release it, Talon. Trust it, baby. Trust it. He's been a little timid. 15 seconds left. He ends up just tucking it, and I think he throws this one away. Move on to the next play. And this one right here is plays that they make on Sundays. Great job by Talon Green, being patient in the pocket, deciding that he's got time. Offensive line, amazing job. Y'all are doing so good. My guy right here decided to just take a play off. Look at him. I do want to highlight, because I'm going to show you how special our offensive line played. Take a look at this guy right here. We were not playing chumps by any means. You see that guy got highlighted? He's one-on-one right now with this defensive tackle. This is let you know how special Texas A&M is. Watch this guy throw him right here. Just, whoo. I mean, that's getting tossed out the club, all right? It sounds like I'm picking on him. I'm not. I'm actually showing that to show y'all our offensive line did a really good job playing against a really talented defensive line. When you got guys that can throw grown men like that, like it's nothing, that's going to be a recipe for a long day. But they stood up to the test and did it. And this right here by Talon, wow, special. On the run. There's nowhere else to put this ball. Those are throws that make on Sunday. We say it all the time. And great catch by Omega Blake. All right, let's go ahead and get to the 3rd quarter. Get moving right here. Talon Green doing special things. Now, this is one thing, Talon, where I'm going to say, like, you can use your brain to not have to do all this to try to get close to the 1st down. We showed this so many times on tape, and if you watch 4th and 5, you probably know what's coming because I talk about this all the time. If you pre-snap read and you have an idea what's going on, you should know a red flag should go up, but let this guy right off the edge, it's coming, that he's blitzing. Why is that? Usually when a safety stacks over that guy in the slot, that safety has to get there because he's going to blitz, and the safety now has to cover his man, so he needs to be in position. So usually when you get stacked DBs like that, it's a big indicator that pressure is coming. So Talon needs to also understand if pressure comes from there, then it's man-to-man coverage. Who has off coverage right now? And they're bringing more than we can block. Where does the ball go? Look how far off this guy is right here. I think this is where Talon should have looked at first. Knowing the pressure's coming. Oh, sorry. He was even looking at him. This is sometimes when I think about it. He's wide open. So much off coverage. Just trust it, Talon. Trust it. Throw that ball. Move on to the next play. Because sometimes when we run like that, we run the risk of getting holding calls. We saw what happened at the end of the game. You're looking right at him. You got patience. Just trust it and release the ball. You don't have to do all of this to get the 1st down because what I get worried about when he rolls out like that is this guy getting a holding call. And now we got 10 yards back from where we started. Just trust it and get rid of that ball. Still can't hate on him. Picks up almost a first down by scrambling out of there. That's just what, once again, comes with Taylon Green. Sometimes you're going to love it. Sometimes you just got to make peace with it. Another one right here. It's crazy. I'll put these plays back to back. He wanted this guy to win the one-on-one route. He did not have a good route at all. We need to do better with our route running. Keeps the ball right here. Gets out of the pocket on that one. And now this. Steps up big time. Opens up his shoulders. Lines it up. Keeps his eyes downfield. Boom. 3rd and 6. And a must need it down. Taylon, you're balling out there. Absolutely love that one. It's so much fun talking about good tape. Raylan Sharp. Why are we not throwing to this guy more? I'm probably going to pick a game. I may go back and watch this whole film and just watch him individually. But the dude can run routes, especially man-to-man coverage across the middle of the field. This is what I was talking about earlier with C.J. Brown, when you have to give him a little something and not just run into the middle of the field. Watch this route. He attacks him, gives him a little breaks his ankles. Easy. Throw and catch right there. Beautiful route by Raylan Sharp. I really want to see more of him in the middle of the field. And then you got this one right here. He couldn't have put this ball anywhere else. Great catch by Platt. Back of the end zone. Gets his foot down. Arkansas rolling. It was such a fun game to watch. And Petrino right here doing a great job. A quick in-game adjustment. I know they had this play in their back pocket, but we saw how they handled the read option earlier when I showed you a couple plays back. They're committing everybody out there to make sure that Taylon doesn't pull it and run outside. Great option bringing Rohan Jones underneath. A nice shovel play, making it a 3-point game. Just brilliant play calling. And but then it gets to this point right here. This is where we end up getting a sack. And this is, I think, where the wheels kind of started to fall off, at least for the fans, that is, when we said, oh, no. It's 1st and 10. You're down 10. I think right now Taylon's thinking, I got to go big. You got 3 timeouts. You got plenty of time. Just trust the offense. This was almost the same play that we started. Actually, let me go back. Let me look. Sorry. It just hit me. Yeah, this is the same play we started the game with Rohan Jones coming underneath. This time they don't get that pass interference. Throw it to him. He's right there. Very surprised he's thinking he has to do too much right here. Plenty of time, be poised, and then he started to do Taylon, and then this time it got him in trouble. It did get him in trouble. So those are things that I think he can learn from. But there was one play I want to pop up right here. I'm going to pause it right here. And I need help from our chat, and I need help from maybe people here. It's 4th and 5, all right? So I want to start doing something within the games. If Arkansas has a 4th and 5 opportunity and they convert, I want to be able to give away something. I just don't know how to specifically give it to one person. Maybe they enter their name into a drawing before the game, and then if there's a 4th and 5, we pull it. I don't know. Chat, please help me out with that. I think that'd be a pretty fun way to implement stuff in this game. And as you can tell, he converted this 4th and 5. Somebody would have won something big. I just don't know what it is. So y'all brainstorm with me on that. I think that would be fun. So that, once again, that was Taylon Green. That was our offense. Very proud of our offense. Still a lot of things we can work on. But you have to be pumped up playing one of the best defenses in all of college football with that type of performance. All right, so that's all of our breakdown stuff. But y'all stay with us. Monday Night Football right around the corner. We're about to go to a quick break. On the other side, we're going to talk to Zach Gillum with Oakland with what's on the board. Put together some parlays. Win a little something. I got to check out what my girlfriend's parlay is tonight. She's kind of been crushing it lately. We'll be right back after this short and sweet break.
Okay. I got my bet in on the next drive. Y'all? Yep. Whoever loses picks up the tab.
You know, this Oakland Sports betting app is so fun to use, it might actually make watching these games with y'all bearable.
Big talk coming from a fella about to lose this wager.
Just need a field goal here and you'll be cooked, my friend. Remember our friendly wager.
And it's good.
Bet on any game all season long with Oakland Sports, Arkansas's best sports betting app.
This is humiliating.
At Ortho Arkansas, we know that Friday night sports injuries can't always wait until Monday morning. That's why our fellowship-trained sports medicine team opens our Saturday morning sports injury clinic every weekend during football season. With on-site x-rays, on-site MRIs, same-day evaluations, we can get the diagnosis for our athletes immediately so you know you get the right care at the right time. Our goal for our athletes is a safe recovery and a strong return to play. Saturday Sports Clinic, only at Ortho, Arkansas.
You might not know us yet, but around here, we're building something different. Southwest Auto Collection in Arkadelphia is more than just a dealership. With a full service department, on-site body shop, and brands you trust, Ford, Chevrolet, Dodge, Chrysler, Jeep, we're built to take care of you long after the sale. And when you keep up your service with us, we'll cover your tires for life. Honest deals, real service, and value that's worth the drive. Southwest Auto Collection. Your road starts here.
Welcome back in. Once again, taking a nice little look at the Mainline Sports Bar. Look at that. How nice is that? All right. Good little spot right here in Hot Springs over here at Oaklawn. I was having a good time. Before we get into what's on the board, let's take a quick look at our friends over there at Southwest Auto. Once again, really good opportunities to take advantage of some really good deals. Look at this thing right here. I think I'd look good in this 2025 Hummer EV. EVs to think, oh no, I got to stop and charge all the time. Look at the range, 359 miles. You get $20,000 off MSRP. Right now, iDriveSWA.com, the place to be to check out all things that they have to offer over there in Arkadelphia. Also, too, I want to let people know before we talk about what's on the board for Monday Night Football. Here's a quick look at what Auburn is going to be bringing to the table. About 172 passing yards per game. Not very good. 160, depends on the team, kind of average. 20 touchdowns on the year. I would say nothing too special right there. Let's go ahead and keep this thing rolling. Look at the defensive side of the ball. You can see passing yards allowed, 229. Could be a good day for Talon. Rushing yards, about 87 per game. 13 total touchdowns allowed. It's going to be an interesting look up there in Northwest Arkansas as the battle of the two teams who do not have a conference win on the board right now. So we're about to go ahead and take a look at what is on the board with Zach Gillum right now. But before we do that, Zach, every time I talk about this, I want people to be able to follow along with this, all right? So y'all got a really cool app that we want to talk about as well. What do we got? Uh-oh. Mic on?
Mic check.
There it is. Yeah.
So the app is very easy to use, best in the state, in my opinion. Oaklawn Sports. It's in the Apple App Store, Google Play Store. Desktop user can join in on the fun. All you have to do is go to the website. It'll ask you to install a plugin, and you are good to go. New customers up to $1,000 in bonus bets. Very easy to do as well. Once you make your first deposit, you're active in the offer. Runs over your first 10 days. Each day up to $100 in bonus bet can come back for that first bet. So a lot of fun there. And you mentioned a little bit of the stats for the Auburn game.
Yep.
That is on the board. So Auburn right now is an underdog coming to Fayetteville. Arkansas -1. Total in this one at 57.
Yeah, let me go back and pause that right there. You can see, look, you see it right there at the right of your screen? Yeah, Arkansas, Auburn, already on the board. So go ahead and take a look at that, download it right now, or you can pick my little girlfriend's parlay you see up there right now as well. But let's go ahead and take a look at what is on the board. We got a little Monday Night Football we want to talk about. We got a late game tonight, Texans and the Seahawks. You see anything change since we made these graphics this morning?
Nope, that is current right now. Seahawks -3, so favored by a field goal. This is in Seattle. And then you're looking at a total of 41. The action's been pretty good and mixed. At 3, it's a little heavier on the Texans. 2.5, it's heavier on the Seahawks. No surprise there, 3 being a key number. And then on the money line, it is a little heavier on the Seahawks.
Yep. Let's go ahead and take a look at some props in this game. We got some team props and player props. Let's start with some team props. Go ahead and walk people through this if they're unfamiliar with what this means.
Yeah, so we're looking at a couple different options here. Texans versus the Seahawks. These are game props. So first line, we're looking at total team TDs. 1.5 for the Texans. We have 2.5 for the Seahawks. Now we're cooking a little hard.
There it is. There it is. Now,
and what you're looking at is over -220. So that's telling you how much you would have to lay to profit 100. 220 wins you 100. And then on the other side, the over +116. Since that number's at 2.5, they have to get 3 touchdowns rather than the 1.5. That's why the odds are a little better there. But you're getting a better return. So every 100 you wager, you would get back 216. 116 of that is profit. On the next line, we're looking at team total points, very common market. You can see this is just the team points scored in the game.
Yep.
So it's pretty much half of doing the total for the game is what you're looking at. Team total 19.5 for the Texans, 21.5 for the Seahawks. And then total successful field goals. I know this was something Ebony's been throwing in.
Oh, yeah, she likes it.
So this is a lot of fun. Others like to join in on this as well. But 3.5, the current line for that, over minus 106.
106. Like I said, we got one game underway. We'll talk about that here in a second. But let's go ahead and get to some player props for a little Monday Night Football. This is where Ebony likes to live. All right, this is her thing. She loves player props, and I would say, getting into the wagering world, I feel more comfortable with the player props.
I feel like they're the fastest growing piece in sports betting, especially when you look at the major sports in the U.S., the NFL, NBA, MLB. There's just so much more than just the game.
Yeah.
And like I said last week on the show, I find it fun when I find a player from each team that I can put a wager on. That way, no matter who's on offense, I'm in.
Nice.
I'm intrigued.
Nice.
So that's something I like to do. Not only that, a little tip that the bosses won't like. If you're picking touchdown scoring player props and you're taking players from opposing teams, you're usually going to get a little bit of a boost in the odds because it's kind of a reverse correlated bet.
Okay.
Have fun with that. But looking at what's on the board right here, we have some passing yards, and we're looking at the ladder options. So these aren't the main numbers for the quarterbacks. You'll have a specific number for each, but then you have these 225 plus, 250 plus, 275 plus. It'll keep going up. The odds will go up the higher you go.
Yep.
Right here, we have 225, CJ Stroud's at minus 109, Sam Darnold minus 106. When we dive into the receiving, you have Nico Collins, and we have Smith Najee. Oh, man.
Hey, good luck.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's on you. We got JSN. That's what we got.
Yeah. And keep in mind, we're only showing you a few of the players. Obviously, the starting quarterbacks, we're not going to have backup quarterbacks up there. But as far as receivers go, it goes deep. It goes into tight ends.
Yep.
We can't leave out the tight ends. In fact, I was telling you before we came on, I'm cheering for Laporta. I don't know who got that first touchdown.
Yeah.
40-plus yards. So this is looking at rushing. So Nick Chubb, Zach Charbonnet, and plus 120, minus 104. As we mentioned earlier, those odds indicate how much you need to wager to profit 100. And again, you can take these ladder options. If you think Nick Chubb's going to have more than 40 yards, I know last week on the 4th and 5, I believe Matt took a little bit more than what the standard line would be just to boost those odds. Always an option.
Yeah. Let's go ahead and move it along. We got another game here that's going on as we speak. And this is why we like to do this, because you can bet after the game starts. So it opened up at the spread at +6, -6, so with the Lions being the favorite. Is that still the same?
So it has shifted just a bit, but not too much. So the Lions are currently up by a touchdown. Trying to look at where we're at. It looks like they have the ball as well. But the current line right now, Lions -6.5. So even being up 7, the line really has only moved a hook.
Yep.
It hasn't moved too much. The total's at 41. So that has shifted quite a bit. As you can expect, at 53.5, it's all the way down to 41, which means that first quarter is not scoring quite like they thought they would.
Yep.
That would be what? That'd be 13, a little under 14 points a quarter, and we only had 7 through the first quarter.
Yep.
And we're over halfway through the second quarter. So you can see how those odds adjust, how those lines adjust based on the action going for the game. And then keep in mind, you have result of a play, result of a drive. You still have player props, touchdown scores, player passing, rushing, receiving. All that is still on the board, even though the matchup has started.
Yeah, so I'm assuming these definitely change once the game starts, right? Team props, player props as well. And so that's something you can just look at as the game is going on. The app, and it's so user-friendly. That's what I like most about the app. So real quick, if they weren't paying attention, one more time where they can go and download it.
Yeah, so check it out. It's in the Apple App Store. All you have to do is search Oaklawn Sports. You're going to find it has a blue logo there. We're in the Google Play Store. Desktop users can join in on the fun as well. So anyone and everyone welcome into the app as long as they're over 21. And very easy to get in. Minimum bet is $1. So we really want you to jump in, have some fun.
All right, I like it. Minimum bet just $1. So I'm going to get on it. I know that I used to hang out with my girlfriend on Monday nights. Can't do it anymore. She's locked in watching football all night. How's that happen?
I was shocked. I was like, we have a doubleheader. Where's Ebony at?
She's watching the game. No, she has an event, but I guarantee you she has her phone out as we speak, keeping up with what's going on in this game. So I think that's real fun, real special. Real quick, I don't have this. I don't have a graphic made for it. Arkansas-Auburn game.
Yep.
Where we at? How'd that open up?
So it opened at Arkansas -1. That's where it still remains.
We're the favorite.
So Arkansas is the favorite. Total at 57. I have not checked the weather for Fayetteville. I know here in Hot Springs we're expecting some potential weather Saturday. So just like last week, you saw that total start to fluctuate when we thought the weather was going to be bad during the game. So that's something to keep an eye on. If you're a really good weatherman and you can predict what's coming, you might be able to jump ahead of a point line, a line move on that total.
That is a thing. I think there is weather. So the best way to stay up to date, we actually going to have a new meteorologist join the 4th and 5 team.
Oh, there we go.
Give us our game day forecast.
Love it.
Best way to get on top of all that is to subscribe to the channel. Once again, very easy to do so. See all the multiple platforms you can subscribe on right now to be a part of our show and our growing community. It's been fun. I've had a blast. I would say that was probably my favorite segment last week when we did our 4th and 5 parlays.
That was a lot of fun.
That was a lot of fun. And I think, was Josh the only one who hit his bet?
Well, I was going to say, and I did the same thing. I leaned into Mike Washington. I was expecting him to have a big, and he had a big game. He just didn't get in the end zone. We needed to lean a little heavier on Talon.
Yeah,
he had the game that really would have created that explosion 100-1 parlay.
Yep.
Taking the 2+ touchdowns over on the rushing.
Yep. And this is how it works too. So I had I had my parlay went up. People could bet on. I needed Braylon Russell 1 touchdown, and then he breaks it, right? I'm over here thinking, this is all I need. They tackle him at the 1-yard line. He kind of stretches out, misses it. I was like, we got this. And then they took him out of the game.
That's what always happens.
You got to feed him. He gets you down there. You got to keep him in.
That happens to me in the NFL.
Yeah.
You'll have somebody like whoever, doesn't matter. They break it. They get down to the 2 or the 1, and they're gassed. You got to take them out, back up, gets it.
Stuff.
One thing to mention, I said it to you last week. I highly recommend, if you're not, follow and subscribe to these guys. I love it because when you subscribe, you get the notification. So you know when they go live. There's so much content going out every day of the week that you don't want to miss it. So I have joined in. I turned on those notifications, which I usually don't do because it keeps me in the game.
We're going to have to put you on the payroll. Man. You keep saying stuff like that, man. I appreciate that. Hit that subscribe and notification button. A lot of people say we miss it all the time. That's the best way to do it. Thank you so much for that reminder. It's been a fun one. We got a game underway, so we try to wrap this up so people in here in the main line can sit down and watch a little Monday Night Football. And so don't forget, once again, be a part of the show all week long. We got a whole lineup of things. Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. So it's 7 days a week here at 4th and 5. So thanks so much for hanging out with us. It was a great night, y'all. Enjoy your Monday Night Football. Get your wagers.